Hey, 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 fam bam.
What's up?
So today we want to talk about being totally blind versus having little sight, right? So my husband here is going to explain like what it's like for him being totally blind and some of his struggles, and I'll talk about what it's like, having some sight and some of the struggles that I go through. But before we get into it, we want to make sure to tell you guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow, share, all that good stuff on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. All right. So now that we got that out the way, let's get into the video.
So, what's it like for me being totally blind? Sometimes it feels a little lost. I don't know if that's the correct word, but it's a struggle because you got to rely on someone to help you a little bit more, especially when it comes out to picking out your clothes. I mean, there are ways to get around picking out your clothes, as I showed you on the other video with the Be My Eyes and this seeing AI, but sometimes you still gotta ask someone to help you reliably. Like, okay, I think this is the blue sweater. Okay, this is the black polo shirt. Okay, and you just gotta rely on someone to help you sometimes. And then another way, it's a little bit irritating, is because when you're cooking, like if you get something in the box, like I said, you can use those apps, which they work perfectly fine. They're good for people who don't have anybody. But sometimes it's just easier for you to just ask somebody sighted, like, okay, how long do I leave this in the oven? Because using those apps, you gotta listen to it, read everything, and go down everything. They do have some apps where you can find the QR code and scan it, and it'll just tell you straight up to how long to put it in there. But being blind, again, it's a struggle because you can't see where the QR code is, and you gotta flip the box over 4 or 5 times. And take the phone around like, oh, am I getting it? Oh, am I getting it?
Right.
Oh. And then maybe you'll find it, after you just struggle with it for a minute. So that's why it's just easier sometimes to ask somebody sighted. And man, I don't think they came up with an app that helps with this last one, sweeping. When it comes to sweeping, it's like when you're blind and you gotta sweep something up, you there sweeping. Wow, that was my book bag falling down. We're preparing to go out, whatever the case may be. But when you're blind and you're sweeping, you got to sweep around a whole lot. Like you got to do a 360-degree sweep, and then you got to expand your range, especially with something like glass. Oh, you never sure if you got to water glass. It's one of those things that even with vacuuming, you know what I'm saying? When you vacuum, you go over a spot 100 times because you don't know if you got the spot. You gotta go over it in a grid format. Like, okay, zzz, zzz, zzz. It's a little crazy. And when I had sight from the age of 30 to 40, because I lost my sight when I was 12, but I had some sight again from 30 to 40. It was a different experience versus not having sight like I am again now without sight. It was just a struggle, like. And then having my wife who has a visual impairment, asking her sometimes, and I feel bad asking her for some stuff sometimes. I'm like, oh, don't worry about it, don't strain your eyes, let's wait till Michael get home, he can read it. And she still tries to read it anyway. But yeah, it's a struggle. I mean, like, it's so much more I can go into. But let's hear some of your story.
Okay, but before I get into mine, I do want to say, I know being blind, totally blind, and having to do stuff, you gotta have some patience because even using the apps, like he said, you gotta try to flip stuff around until you find what you want the thing to read to you and all of that stuff. That stuff takes patience. Even like texting and stuff like that, it takes patience because you gotta say what you want to say into the phone, then you gotta go back and read it. Then if something's wrong, you gotta go back and try to fix it. Like I be seeing my husband do that, and I'm like, man, he got some patience because you gotta go right to where you wanna fix the mistake. delete it, and then fix it. And that can take time sometimes, you know? And so he be having patience with, you know, being blind.
Depending on what you're trying to fix, sometimes it's just easier to just erase the whole thing and start over.
Yeah.
It's a struggle, man.
So yeah, but to be honest, a lot of stuff that my husband knows how to do being blind, some stuff I can't even do. You know, so, you know, it's like I really admire blind people who really just, in spite of what they're going through, they still do what needs to be done. And like I said, some stuff my husband does, he can do better than me. And I don't know how he does it, but hey, you know, he does it. Like, even going places, you know, he can learn his way around quicker than I learn my way around. And I have, you know, a little bit of sight. But his brain, you know, his memory and stuff is it's a lot better than mine. So, you know, by his memory being so good, he memorizes stuff very well. And to where I'm still trying to figure out how to get from point A to point B, he can kind of tell whoever's driving, yeah, you got to go this way and turn on this street and turn on that street. And I just be lost. I don't even...
It's because I ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, he does. He'll ask a lot of questions, so he's in the know of, you know, well, what's right here, or, you know, what street is this, or, you know, he'll ask. You know, he asks a lot more questions than I do, so even with that, he's in the, you know, he knows a little bit more about getting around and stuff like that. So I be trying to use landmarks, trying to see. And then, you know, he remembers like what somebody told him, like, okay, well, this street runs into this street and you got to turn this way, go that way. He remembers the stuff. So, you know, even though he struggles with a lot of things, he got a lot of like knowledge and wisdom about how to cope with being blind. So I just wanted to say that.
It's just muscle memory and having a curious brain. And even when I was a kid,
Yeah,
I was curious.
Brain.
I asked a lot of questions. Some people be like, man, you just being nosy. Well, I just be wanting to know some stuff sometimes.
I be saying that sometimes, like, dang, why you asking so many questions?
Yeah, it's just asking questions gives me more knowledge of the situation sometimes, or even the environment. So, yeah. Sometimes, I do get lost, but getting lost is half the fun, I guess.
I don't like getting lost. But he always finds his way. And then for me, being having some sight, it's a struggle as well because, you know, especially dealing with other people, you know, like when somebody's totally blind, you know, people can understand, okay, this person can't see. Like, okay, my husband, they know he can't see. So somebody will kind of try to take him and lead him, you know, versus me having some sight. People forget that I can't see that well and they don't understand how I see. So sometimes they expect me to see stuff that I can't see, you know, and like how we said on one of the videos, I'll ask somebody, you know, where's something at, and they'll just point over there somewhere or go that way. And I don't know what they're pointing at. I don't know where I'm walking to. So, you know, people just seem to forget, like, oh, yeah, Santina can't see that well. And I do get around pretty well by myself. You know, like I walk my dog, I clean up the house, and, you know, we just have to use certain things, like I was saying about my husband, use some wisdom in learning how to get things done. Like when I sweep the floor, a lot of times I'll be barefooted or something, so I'll walk around the floor, sliding my feet all around the floor to make sure that I got everything up, and if I feel something, I'll sweep it up. Or, you know, it takes a lot more time because, like he said, you got to go over the floor a couple times, but I really can't see what's on the floor unless it's something big, like some big trash or something like that. But I just have to, you know, sweep, or, you know, they got like these Swiffer sweeper things, you know, you just brush it across the floor. But even with that, it's like you still got to sweep up the big stuff before you can just sweep up the crumb, you know, use the Swiffer to get the crumbs and stuff like that. So It's a challenge. It is a challenge, but like we do everything. My husband, he washes dishes, he cooks, we know how to fill the dishes to make sure they're clean. It's like you just use wisdom so that you can cope and do everyday things like everybody else. Now, we're not gonna drive a car or anything like that. Like there's no way to get around that. But doing certain things to better your life or to better your independence, you can just use wisdom and just come up with things on your own. Well, how can I get this done? And sometimes you'll just come up with different ways to help you cope. And that's pretty much what I do. And we use all of our senses that we have left.
And we try to organize things in certain fashions to help us to be a little bit easier.
Yeah, my husband is good with organizing certain things, even though me and Michael, we may go in and disorganize stuff after he organized it.
But we'll talk about that in another video. And it's funny. I think it's a problem with the sighted community, period. Like, even to a blind person that's totally blind, they still use words like, it's over there, or it's right here, or it's down there, like, down there, over here, right here. Those are a million places that someone who can't see or can't see that well. Yeah, so I think it's one of those sighted things, you know what I'm saying? And then they don't want to say they get an attitude, but they be like, I said it was right here, like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, why are you getting mad? I don't see where right here is. Like, if I tell my husband, like, something's right here, I'll be tapping on it, like, you know what I'm saying? So he can know where I'm saying.
Yeah, some people, like I said, I think it's a sighted thing. Like, people, and there's nothing wrong with the sighted community. It's just guys,
they just don't know.
In the sighted community, they don't understand or how to communicate right here or over there. You got to be a little bit more precise. Like, okay, it's over there on the table in the corner and on your left hand side. Okay, that's better.
Yeah.
They said it's over there, and I don't know where over there is.
Over there is all around. Like,
they can say it's over there on the table. Unless I know where the table is at precisely, I still don't know where the table is.
And then even over there on the table, where is it at? So you just got to feel around the table, possibly knocking stuff over, and then now people mad because you done spilled something or knocked something. It's like, just, try to be a little more specific and a little more understanding. And like he said, it's not that they're mean or rude. They just, a lot of people are not used to being around blind or visually impaired people, so they forget, hey, I got to give this person a little extra direction.
Now, yeah, nowadays people just don't, I don't know if they don't care, they just don't have the patience to care. So.
Yeah, some people don't have the patience. I've seen that, and so it's pretty tough, even, having some sight, because people tend to forget. And then another issue that I have is some people try to say that, oh, you can see, just because there's some things that I may be able to see, and then some things I might not be able to see. Some days I might be having a good day with my vision, like the light might be just right, and I might be able to see a little better than I was able to see yesterday. I might not need as much help or whatever as I did yesterday. So it's like, but it's hard for people to understand that a person can see but can't really see at the same time. It's hard to understand. Like, my friend Jody, she, picks us up. You guys have seen her in a couple of our videos. She picks us up and takes us where we need to go. She's actually going to pick us up today. We're going to church together. But, sometimes when we're walking and I'm trying to lead my husband. Now, you guys know I only have one eye that I can really see out of. And I'm trying to lead him, watch myself, watch out for him all at the same time. So I really can't focus on what's going on, and sometimes we're walking with her and I'm trying to help lead him, and then she's leaving both of us behind, and I'm like, hey, where you at? Because I'm trying to follow her and make sure that neither one of us run into anything. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, and she'll come back and get us. So sometimes people forget that just because I could see and move around, that doesn't mean that I'm able to see everything, so it can be a struggle. But the good thing about it is the fact that you always find a way to overcome, which we do, every day, doing everyday tasks and everything. We might need help sometimes with some things, but we're able to cook, we're able to clean our house, we're able to, get around to the best of our ability, picking out our clothes and ironing, and like we do everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it can be a struggle, but we're not hindered from living normal lives.
That's the best way to say it.
Yeah.
And another thing that, and now each individual person is blind or visually impaired, they have little things and kinks that they may not want help with as far as from the sighted community. Like when I go out to eat, I don't need nobody telling me, okay, your chicken's at 12 o'clock, your rice is at 4 o'clock, and your peas is at whatever. I'd rather just explore the plate myself.
Mm-hmm.
And locate my
But some
food.
people do like that.
Yeah, that's what I said. Individually,
Mm-hmm.
Some people, it's you just got to ask the person before you just assume something. Like sometimes being blind, you need help. Sometimes being blind, you want help. And sometimes being blind, you don't want the help. Like I've been crossing the street perfectly fine, and next thing you know, I got a sighted person just run up on me, grabbing me.
I was about to say that.
And that's cool that they want to be helpful, but sometimes you coming to grab me,
you can just ask.
You can just ask. But sometimes even getting sighted help. Sometimes it can hinder what you already know,
Mm-hmm.
or what you already have set up. Like, okay, I know I'm about to come off the curb. I know this post right here gonna be right to my left. I know this stop sign gonna be right to my right. But that sighted person might take you on the other side of that stop sign, and now you kind of got your path thrown off a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's just easier for you to just ask, hey, do you need some help? And allow that person to say yes or no, instead of just assuming that person needs help. But always be willing to help at the same time is what I can say.
Yeah, and then looking from a sighted person's point of view, they're looking like, oh man, this blind man about to cross the street. You know what I'm saying? And they just like, they kind of want to spring into action like, oh, let me help him to make sure he don't get hit by a car or something like that, which that's understandable and that's very nice and kind. And we're not saying that, hey, don't try to help a blind person, but it's just, just ask. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just ask. Don't just assume and take charge and grab. And then there's some people who try to help you, and they may not grab you, but now they're grabbing your cane, and that's
that's
just
right
such
there.
an annoyance.
Don't do that.
I don't think any visually impaired person wants you grabbing their cane.
You want somebody grabbing your eyes, you know what I'm saying? Because the cane is like your eyes. It's helping you to see what's on the ground in front of you.
Yeah.
And then the person grabs it, like trying to lead your cane to where. I don't know. It's just people are just uneducated and they mean well. But it's just, people just have to get a little bit educated about, how we're trained, how we're trained to be independent. Because we go through training. It's not like we just blind people just walking all around the world, just, wild and don't know nothing. We just swinging our cane all around. No, we've been trained on how to walk, how to listen for traffic, how to ask questions if we need help. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what I was about to say. We've been trained on how to ask for help the right way and how to instruct someone and how to help me.
Yes. We've been trained on how to do that. So if you see a blind person walking down the street, don't get alarmed and feel like, oh, I need to spring into action. And nope. I mean, it's okay to watch and, and see what they do and make sure. And if you see some danger coming that they might not, then it's okay to say, hey, such and
watch
such.
out for that open manhole.
That's fine. Or if you need to run up to them and say, hey, there's a construction thing coming up here, because we may not know. That's happened before. There's a construction thing coming up here. Is it okay if I lead you around it? Then more than likely the person's going to say, oh, yeah, sure, thank you. Can I just grab your arm and you just, you know what I'm saying? So we've been trained how to communicate with sighted people. So just if you see someone blind, just, and if you want to help, just go up to them and ask them, you know, hey, can I help you, or do you need help? Don't just spring into action like, oh, let me grab your cane, let me, you know. So that is kind of a little lesson for the sighted world. It's not like we're upset with you guys or anything. We completely understand where you're coming from when you want to help. We completely understand. But it's just, you know, just like we have to learn how to cope and get around in the world being blind. You know, some people, sighted people, need to learn how to communicate with blind people as well. So, and that's all. It's just a little lesson.
And I will say this. For you visually impaired or blind people watching this, don't be afraid to ask for help. Because
Please don't.
Even sighted people ask for help. Like, I'm part of this Discord server, and they also have a Facebook page, and we're trying to get some people from the Facebook page to come over to the Discord server. And the Facebook page is you know, geared around blind people, and it used to be where we would meet socially and talk on there, but Facebook took away the you know, the voice chats.
Yeah, that sucks.
You know, the big voice chat rooms, whatever. So we switched over to Discord. And so many blind people or low vision people who have a problem coming over to Discord, because there is a part where you have to, you know, do the I'm not a robot type of thing. And there is a way that's accessible for blind people to do it. It's just some blind people can't do it and can't comprehend it. And then they complain because they don't ask for help. And so I want you to be not afraid to ask for help as a visually impaired person or a blind person, because that doesn't take away your independence asking for help. Because even sighted people ask for help.
Yeah, you need help sometimes. We're human.
Help is out there for you when you need it. Just don't be afraid to ask for the help.
You think it's a way you can put like a link to or something in the description for, you know, people who want to be a part of a blind community where they can talk to other blind people?
Maybe not. But it's internationalblindcafe.com. From there you can go and find all the links to the Facebook, all the links to the Discord, and like I said, it's worldwide. It's people that's from Africa, Europe, all kind of Croatia,
Canada,
Philippines, Canada, United States, Mexico. Yeah, it's a lot of people, and then they go on there and they talk. You know what I'm saying? I talk to them people every day, like
yeah, my husband, he got his people he talk to every day. And then y'all play games and stuff on there too, right? That's the same one? They play games. He's in charge of a couple of the games.
But in closing,
it's pretty cool.
In closing, what I will say is, for anyone, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to give help. And don't think you can't give help because you're not blind, because you are blind, excuse me. Because it's so many sighted people who I've helped, and so many sighted people who I've taught how to do things that a sighted person should know how to do. Like, I got a friend, you know what I'm saying, I use Pro Tools recording software. And I've literally taught sighted people how to use the software just by talking them through what they're supposed to look for. So in the end, just don't be afraid to help someone. Don't be afraid to ask someone if they need help. And don't be afraid to get help. Because we all need it, blind or sighted.
Yep, so blind people can help sighted people. Sighted people can help blind people. Blind people can help blind people. My husband, he helps some of his blind friends when they don't know how to do something. So just don't be afraid to ask anyone. You never know what someone may know or how someone can help you.
And just remember, over there, right here, there are a million places to someone blind or visually impaired. So be more precise. That's the best way I can see it. Be more precise. I don't, you know what I'm saying, I understand that you used to be given instructions that way, but be more precise, please. Be as precise as possible.
Even for someone who has a little bit of sight, you may not understand how they can see, but we're legally blind too. So we need help with, you know, knowing where over there is and reading things, and don't forget that let me tell you this one thing. when I'm walking, because I walk around a whole lot, and when I'm walking, a lot of times somebody will roll past in the car and they'll beep their horn. And then the next time I see them, they're like, oh, I drove past you and I beeped at you, and you just looked at me like I was crazy. And it's like, well, I don't see you. I can't see who's driving the car. I just see the car driving past. And sometimes, people fall out with you because of something that you just couldn't see, and they don't realize that you can't see it. So when you see your visually impaired friend walking down the street, say, hey, Santina, it's Keisha, what's up? And then I can say, hey, Keisha, girl. You know what I'm saying? So it's just tough sometimes being visually impaired / legally blind, and people just don't know how to cope with that. But we are learning together, you guys. So I pray that this has been a learning video for you, for all of us. And we're just going to keep learning together. If you have any questions or have any experiences that you want to share, feel free to put them in the comments so that we can all chime in and see what's up, and give our little input and stuff like that. We appreciate everybody who comments. We do make sure to comment back, so make sure to say whatever you want to say and we'll respond to you.
Yeah.
All right, so is that it, husband? You got anything else you want to say?
Being blind is a spectrum. Anybody whose vision is 2200 is legally blind. Just because they can see well enough to get around, don't mean they don't need no help. It don't mean they can't use no help. So don't be afraid. Just because you see a person walking around, and if you know they are blind or have a visual impairment, don't be afraid to ask them, because you know what I'm saying. And don't be too prideful to ask for help when you need help. And that's pretty much the end of what I gotta say.
Yep.
So make sure y'all, if y'all haven't done it already, hit that subscribe button or follow button. Like it, comment, and share it with a friend, because sharing is caring.
That's right.
And we appreciate all y'all. And thank you, Fam Bam. We love you.
We love you.
We'll see you on the next video.
All right.
Peace.
Bye.